Hey, I'm Jeff Straw. Today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why you need a great logo as a music artist, and I'm going to give you a couple quick tips at the end for creating that memorable logo, so stick around to the end. Reason number 1, creating your identity. So a logo helps create a music artist's brand identity. It's often the very first visual touch point that a fan or person will come across when relating to an artist's music. Since it's that first touch point and it's a very visual asset, it's important that it matches the sonic identity of the band or the music artist. It's one way that they can help get across their unique visual style, their aesthetic, and hopefully be able to determine a little bit about the type of music that they're creating all through that logo. Your logo is the only visual asset in all of your sort of brand identity system that's going to be used over and over again. In other words, when you design an album cover, it's for that album or it's for that single. And yes, that album cover may wind up on a t-shirt, but more often than not, it's tied to that release cycle. But your logo will be on your merch, your logo will be on your album covers, it will be perhaps on your business cards, on your social media, it will be on flyers. It's everywhere and it lasts longer than just one release. So it's worth investing in. When we look at iconic music artists' logos, we immediately get an image of the artist, what their music sounds like, all from that logo. So working towards that as a new and developing artist is something that we strive for, creating that connection. Another important way that it helps build your identity is through live performance. During any live show, if a DJ or a music artist has their logo prominently displayed and a fan has a fantastic reaction to the show, it's going to cement that logo into their brains as a part of the show and help make it easier to call up the artist's name when they're telling their friends the next day. And it's just going to help them remember you as an artist. We're not going to get too much into different types of logos, but suffice it to say that there's 2 main ones, a word mark and a pictorial mark that most musicians use. If you have both, it's an even richer and deeper way to help establish that identity. We can think of Dead Mouse's mouse head shape that became such an iconic part of his brand. The word mark treatment of his name is important, but of much more importance, I would argue, is his pictorial mark or his symbol. And along with establishing your identity, color can also play a really big role. So the color choices you make around your logo and with your logo can also help establish that identity for you. Number 2, a great logo helps you stand out as an artist. Today's music economy is incredibly crowded. There's more music being released today than ever before. So having an eye-catching and memorable logo is one way to help you stand out from the crowd and rise above that noise floor. And much like having good publicity photos or press photos, a proper logo will really give you a sense of legitimacy as an artist when you're working with promoters, booking agents, playlist editors, and things like that. So having that logo is a really great way to show that you care about this art form that you're creating and that you take yourself seriously as an artist. Brand recognition usually starts with that logo. So having a solid and consistent logo is a great way to help establish that foundation and again, get you working towards standing out in the crowd. As your artist name begins to appear on flyers, perhaps festival flyers or club nights, it's a way to help you stand out from the other contemporaries and artists that are on that flyer. And number 3 of my reasons for why you need a great logo is that it helps you connect with your fans. In today's music economy, connection with the fans is absolutely paramount to success as an artist. Well, the logo doesn't create this connection by itself in a vacuum. What it does is it supports all the other efforts that you've made as an artist to create that connection so that all of those are remembered by the fan every time they see their logo. For example, if your stage production includes really great light show, you had an amazing energetic performance on stage, met with fans afterwards and sold merch at the booth, or maybe you signed some autographs for people. When a fan sees your logo, they're going to remember all of that. The logo becomes the trigger for them to enter back into your world and have all of the sort of happy, connected memories that they have with you as an artist. That connection's super important. And when a fan does buy your merch and they wear it, ding, 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 this creates not only a connection with you, the artist, but also with other fans. It begins to build your tribe. It's the reason I wore this Slayer hat today. Every time I wear this hat, no matter where I go, somebody gives me a comment on the hat, gives me a Slayer, right? And so it's an immediate way for me to spark conversation with other music fans, for me to, even airline pilots have commented on it as I've gotten onto airplanes. It's just one of those things, right? The Slayer brand is iconic. And their fans and metal fans in general are a very connected community. When you look at those denim vests that a lot of metal fans wear to shows, they're just covered in patches from their favorite bands, right? It's a way for a fan to show how they're connected to the community through the logos that they choose to represent. This is basically what we call brand loyalty in terms of fan engagement and fan connectivity. So those are the 3 reasons. 1, it helps build your identity. 2, it helps you stand out from a crowd. And 3, it helps build connectivity with your fans. And so like I promised, I have a few extra little pointers here for you at the end of the video. So a couple tips around how to create that memorable logo. I'm pulling a few ideas from this book called Logo Design Love by David Airy. It's a fantastic book. It's not really meant for music branding, but it is a great logo design book for designers and really explores the world of branding and logo design. Anyways, fantastic book. If you're interested, I'll put the link in my description. Here are some tips for creating that great logo. 1, your logo should be unique and distinct. In terms of word marks, which is your name of your artist or your name of your band, most of the time if they're done on a computer, your designer is starting with a off-the-shelf font. That's fine, and it's a great way to get ideas going quickly. However, you want to make sure that that off-the-shelf font is then customized to really create a logo that's your own. Letter forms and shapes should be manipulated, sizes should be adjusted, the way things are laid out can be tweaked, and really to make it something unique. The other way is to have a completely hand-drawn logo, which ensures that it's going to be unique. 2, it has to work while it's small. This is true for album covers as well, but oftentimes your designer's so used to seeing this logo or this album cover on a massive screen that and there's all sorts of rich detail in it that you forget that fans are going to experience this often as a thumbnail on Spotify, or your logo will be the corner of a thumbnail on Spotify, so it's even smaller. So what I'm getting at here is that you have to shrink that logo when you're looking at it and you're evaluating your options to make sure that it's going to still look great and still translate your brand values even when it's tiny. 3, it should be legible. Now, there are a few exceptions. Death metal's a big one, but for the most part, artist wordmark or artist logos should be legible. It's kind of the whole point of the logo is that people remember your name and they can find you later. So if it's just a big convoluted mess of letters, again, for the most part, most genres, you want to keep that logo very legible. Number 4, simplicity. Simplicity always will win out over very complex logos. We've seen a trend in design lately that even larger scale brands are simplifying their logos. With artist logos in particular, simple works better. Along those same lines, don't introduce color just yet. So let's call this number 5. Design in black and white. The bones of the logo need to be strong and the geometry of the letters need to stand on their own before we get fancy with any color treatments. This is one way to really make sure that you've got a great logo, not just a cool collection of colors. One of the main reasons for that is that your logo has to work in monochrome if it's going to be on, let's say, a festival flyer with a whole bunch of other artists. And if you're relying on the strength of your cool color treatment or your cool 3D gradients to make your logo great and memorable, then we're in trouble when it becomes just black and white. I'm not saying don't use color. I'm saying design it in black and white and then use those in cool color, texture, and lighting effects for album cover artwork, maybe for t-shirt designs and things like that, but keeping the core of the logo in black and white. The last one is it should be memorable or memorizable. In our culture today, especially in America, we are inundated with thousands and thousands of brand messages, advertisements on a daily basis. We want to make sure that your logo is memorable and eye-catching. I would suggest working with a professional designer to create your logos. So while you don't have to pay a designer to do this, it is important to think about it if you have any sort of a budget for it. And if you're taking your career seriously, it's something that you should be looking for help in. That's not to say that you don't have a role in it. Most artists who work with designers work best, at least me as a designer, when I'm given a logo, mood board, or a few example artists that they really enjoy and that get across the same idea that they're trying to get across with their logo. In other words, do your homework, come prepared, have some decent ideas, even if you can't physically make them happen on a computer or with your pen, that's okay. At least the ideas are going to be flowing and you're not just sitting there expecting your designer to work a miracle for you. So in conclusion, I really hope you enjoyed the video, these 3 reasons why you need a great logo as a music artist, as well as my 5 quick tips around creating a great logo. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate it. And most of all, thanks so much for spending a little bit of your time with me today. I hope I was able to provide some value for you. Again, I'm Jeff Straw. Go create something awesome.